Hi guys, you may or may not have seen my first video about the IELTS exam. I told you a little bit about the 4 different skills, the 4 different exams that make up the IELTS exam in general. What I would like to do now is tell you about the speaking part of the IELTS exam. The speaking part of the exam has 3 tasks, okay? So the first task is 4 to 5 minutes long. The second part is 3 to 4 minutes long. And the final task is 4 to 5 minutes long. So in general, you're looking at anywhere between 11 and 14 minutes for the whole speaking exam. Just a couple things that might be useful. The examiner is not always from the UK or from Australia. The examiner can sometimes be from the United States. He or she can be from New Zealand, from South Africa, from Ghana, from any English-speaking country, really. So prepare yourself for different accents. I have had students before that have walked in and they have had an Indian woman or a Filipino man, and it was very nerve-wracking for them because they did not expect to have an examiner from a different country. And even though those are English-speaking countries, the accent can be very different. To tell you a little more, the speaking exam, like all other parts of the IELTS exam, is marked from 1 to 9. These are called bands, with 9 being the best band you can possibly get. Also, there is a general version of the IELTS exam, and there's also an academic version. Most of you are probably taking the academic version, which is for studying, okay? So if you want to study in another country, you will most likely take the academic IELTS exam. The nice thing with the speaking exam is that the general and the academic version are exactly the same. So you do not have to worry about, okay, am I studying for the general part or am I studying for the academic version? They're exactly the same. So in that respect, there is not much to worry about when it comes to versions. So, you are probably wondering, well, what do they grade you on? What are they looking for, or what are they listening for on a speaking exam? There are 4 things that they listen for. The most important thing to focus on for the speaking exam is fluency and coherence. So, fluency is just being able to talk, and to talk very smoothly, very fluidly. A person who is very fluent in a language is usually very natural when they speak, and it is very easy for them to talk. So when you are taking your speaking exam, or while you are speaking during the exam, you want to try to act as natural as you possibly can. The second thing that they will mark you on is called lexical resource. Lexical resource, it sounds fancy, it's vocabulary. It's the same thing as vocabulary. So you want to use many different vocabulary words. You do not want to continue using the same words again and again and again. Also, you do not want to use very basic words like good or bad, okay? You cannot say, my city is good because the weather is nice. That kind of sentence is very basic. It's boring, and the IELTS examiner will mark you off for that. The third thing that they focus on is called grammatical range and accuracy. This means that you are able to use different kinds of grammar. Can you use present simple? Can you differentiate between present perfect and past simple? Can you use conditional forms? Can you use prepositions correctly? And they also want to see that you can mix up a lot of the different tenses, a lot of the different aspects, just mix up the grammar in general and be able to use different structures correctly. The last part of the speaking exam, the last thing that they mark you on is your pronunciation. Now, this does not mean your accent. They will not give you a bad mark for your accent, because everyone's accent is different. For example, an Indian person will have a very different accent than me. Are they better at speaking English? No, not necessarily. It's just a different accent. What I mean by pronunciation is being able to say words or portray what you want to say, and for it to be able to be understood by the other speaker. So if you say a word, can the examiner understand what you're saying? This is also an extremely important thing to concentrate on. So this is the speaking exam in general. I'm going to tell you a little more about the exam specifically in the next video. I'm going to give you advice for the general exam, and eventually I will tell you about each of the different tasks individually. So, thank you for listening.